radicalism is growing among our police and military, brother. Last night I did my whole show on Oathkeepers, this new group of lawmen and soldiers that have formed a group called Oathkeepers. And it's very exciting because you go to their website and you read lieutenant colonels and others saying they're absolutely right, and I'm a part of it, and I'm going to be with you and stand back to back with you on declaring these orders that they will not obey. And they're right on target. All of these things are going to be orders they're going to be given, and they're saying, no, we're not going to enforce them. It says here, number one, we will not obey in any order to disarm the American people. And they say here right after it, the attempt to disarm the people on April 19th, 1775 was the spark of open conflict in the American Revolution. That vile attempt was an act of war, and the American people fought back in justified, righteous self-defense of their natural rights. Any such order today would also be an act of war against the American people and thus an act of treason. We will not make war on our own people, and we will not commit treason by obeying any such treasonous order, nor will we assist or support any such attempt to disarm the people by any government entity, state or federal.
Well, let me stop you there. I want to go back through the 10 points, and we can read more of that. But
yeah,
it's a spell. They've tried to hire thugs. They've tried to demonize the people. They've tried to make the cops scared of the public instead of not with the people as guardians and protectors in a very honorable, sacred position. And I am seeing with police and military, it's like the spell is breaking. It's like they're, what? I didn't know, Mike. It's like a spell, isn't it?
It is a spell, and it's their training, because when I was on the Phoenix Police Department, the sixth largest city in the United States, we had 2,600 men and women under arms, and we were taken in for in-service training repeatedly, and they were massaging our brains and brainwashing us about all these things with statements like, you can't trust the American people out there to ever come to your aid. If you ever need help, you can only trust fellow officers.
While meanwhile the media was demonizing, telling Americans it's not right to defend yourself, don't help cops, stand down, they'll handle it. So see, brainwashing the public not to, defend themselves or help the police and to stand down, and then telling the cops the public won't help you. Go ahead.
That's right. And this Oathkeepers is not a nation of sheep. They're not sheep. They're standing up, as God told us to do, against the evildoers and taking a stand. And it's very unhealthy in the military to do that. Pat Tillman did it, made the mistake of telling him over there in Afghanistan that he had discovered that we were only there protecting the opium fields.
Go over point one, pledge one.
Pledge one, they say we will not obey any order to disarm the American people.
Okay, that has to be because they're training the police and military to confiscate guns. They're openly admitting it and saying they're gearing up, have massive gun bills introduced. So, again, they're responding to a real threat. Number two.
Yes, number two, we will not obey any order to conduct warrantless searches of the American people, their homes, their papers, vehicles, or effects.
All over the country, and I want you to respond to this. They're putting liaison, regular Army, regular troops in the police departments. They're saying they're going to patrol America. This already started. The shooting in Alabama, they put regular Army. We had the colonel on. They're acclimating everybody that this is happening. And in Iowa, they were going to do the drill till we stopped it, and they're still claiming they're going to do a scaled down one of door-to-door asking if they can search for guns in people's homes. Go ahead.
Okay, number three, we will not obey any order to detain American citizens as unlawful enemy combatants or to subject them to trial by military tribunals.
That's right. Underneath, through the Military Commissions Act, it says U.S. citizens can be secretly stripped, secretly arrested of rights, secretly tried by a kangaroo court, and secretly executed.
That's right. Absolutely, brother. And then number four, we will not obey orders to impose martial law or a state of emergency on a state or to enter with force into any state without the express consent and invitation of the state's legislature and governor.
That's the 9th and 10th Amendment. The feds are openly taking everything over. Northcom admits that they're to take over governors and states and legislatures, and that the U.S. Congress is titular, vestigial, ceremonial under PDD 51, and that they're preparing to take over the states. So that's actually happening. We need to resist that. Go ahead. These are all violations of the oath if police and military do this. Go ahead.
Yes, and they say that this is an act of war. Each one of these orders are an act of war against the American people, and they are right.
Yep.
And it's treason, they say, too, in this article.
Continue.
Number 5, we will not obey orders to invade or subjugate any state that asserts its sovereignty and declares the national government to be in violation of the compact by which the state entered the Union.
And that's, again, 9th and 10th Amendment, Constitution, all the Federalist Papers. Please continue.
Number 6, we will not obey any order to blockade American cities, thus turning them into giant concentration camps.
And the feds admit, in Canada, the U.S., everywhere, England, they're all announcing that they're preparing to cordon and lock down cities, and the Army War College admits their main mission is engaging the American people in combat, high treason, so they're responding to that. Go ahead.
That's right. That's right. Number 7, we will not obey any order to force American citizens into any form of detention camps under any pretext. The pretext meaning a lie here.
Yeah, well, they always say, oh, it's going to be fun camps for your safety with nightly movies, and local preachers are going to be in them, and it's because everything's collapsing, and we're doing this for your own good. Continue.
Right. Number 8, we will not obey orders to assist or support the use of any foreign troops on U.S. soil during or against the American people to keep the peace or to maintain control during an emergency or under any other pretext. We will consider such use of foreign troops against our people to be an invasion and an act of war.
All right.
And they say they're going to stand up with the people and fight against the foreign troops.
Now, again, going back at least a decade, they signed open documents to use Mexican, Canadian, Czech Republic, Dutch troops, British troops, Australian troops. I've been to the urban warfare drills to take over the U.S. Then early last year, about a year and a half ago, or about a year and 2 months ago, was in the Toronto Star everywhere. Congress said, what are you doing? The Canadian government said, what are you doing? We control this. The military announced they're going to use Canadian and Mexican troops in the U.S. and vice versa, and now it's openly being announced. Please continue.
Okay, number 9. We will not obey any orders to confiscate the property of the American people, including food and other essential supplies, under any emergency pretext whatsoever.
And that's in the executive orders to put you in forced work brigades, even if you've done nothing, confiscate your food. Obama's saying they're building medical centers at the FEMA camps now. He's announced that. This is really happening. They blow everything out and make you accept martial law for safety. Let's do the last one.
Okay, the last one. We will not obey any orders which infringe on the right of the people to free speech, to peaceably assemble, and to petition their government for the redress of grievances.
Absolutely will not suppress free speech and political action, which the police have been trained to do everywhere with free speech zones and more.